I want to try a new drawing and shading style, something that is not overly blended or not too smooth. In fact, pencil strokes might still be very visible. It will still be realistic somehow, but maybe a bit rough and textured. If you want to know what I'm talking about, here's the 10-step process to this kind of style using graphite pencils. So here is the first step, which is the geometric outline sketching using the B pencil. By the way, I'm using a Staedtler Mars Lumograph, and the paper is a textured paper. This is a Strathmore vellum surface. Yeah, we need a textured paper here. So using the B pencil, what I'm gonna do here is, although I already have an outline using the grid method, now with this first step, I want to intensify the outline of the shadows. I'm drawing outlines over the shadows. This is a geometric shape. So I have done several tutorials with this kind of technique, but if you try to observe your reference photo, you will see that all these shadows, are having these nice geometric shapes to it. So you're just going to put outlines to the shape of the shadows, like the contour on the forehead, the what do you call, the cheekbones. So instead of rounded edges, you are going to have straight lines. So step 2 is clean and erase. We really need to get rid of the outline from the grid method and some other outlines with a pencil. So step 3, we have to fully cover, okay, the face or the neck and some other skin parts using the H pencil. So I'm using a lighter pencil now. A while ago with the geometric sketch, I used the B. Now this is H. It's lighter because I still want to see my outlines, my geometric outlines. So yeah, I need that. I need those foundation or the outline of the shadow. So I cover everything with the H pencil. Now I'm gonna blend using tissue. This is step 4. So very light blending. I don't want to erase my outlines. I want my geometric outlines here. Now, we are going to even more identify all these shadows by this step. Using 3B, now I'm gonna shade all the outlines or the shadows using this 3B. Again, it's still in geometric form. I want to be able to identify all these shapes, like here, the nose, in the forehead. Yeah, all these shadows right here. There are darker shadows, so I'm putting more pressure, and in lighter shadows, I'm using lighter pressure using this 3B. So the idea in the first part is to have an outline of the shadow. Now we are going to layer shade on the shadows. We are going to block in all these geometric shapes using this dark pencil, which is the 3B. So it looks a little bit funny at this stage. Yeah, don't be just trust the process. It will look robotic right here. It will not look realistic at this stage. But by the way, we're not doing really quite super realistic. We're doing more like a rough technique for these steps. So don't worry if the skin tone is becoming very dark. It's not going to be that dark, and you will see later on how it's going to be just fine. Just trust the process. It looks weird at this stage, but yeah. Step 6, darkening. Now you will see now what I mean by do not worry about all these shadows, because when we use dark pencil, so this is the only non-graphite pencil that I'm using on this portrait. This is the Cretacolor Nero. You can use charcoal pencil, you can use black colored pencil. Just use a significantly dark pencil than the graphite. You can use the black Mars Lumograph actually for this one to achieve this high level of contrast. Okay, so using the rubbing tool, I'm gonna blend these super dark values of the drawing. So contrast, very important in any type of drawing. So you really need to have even just one dark pencil for every graphite drawing, because yeah, contrast is really nice to have in order to make the drawing look good. So this is the Cretacolor Nero medium Cretacolor Nero. I really suggest this pencil for every graphite artist. The Cretacolor Nero. This is an oil-based charcoal pencil. Very important. Now light blending. I'm using a soft, very soft flat brush because I don't want to blend really hard, because I still want my outline, I still want my geometric shapes to be still visible on this particular drawing, and of course the textures. And yeah, I really need all these pencil strokes right here to add character to the drawing. And now this is the main step, which is the actual skin tone. So now I'm trying something different here, because usually I go from light to dark with graphite pencils, but here I'm going from dark to light. So I'm starting with 8B. So I'm using the 8B on the nostrils, like right here on the side of the nose, some parts of the lips. This particular dark shadow over here on the right side of the forehead, on top of the forehead. Yeah. Now 5B, so it's a little bit lighter. Now I'm using it on the majority of the shadows that we blocked in a while ago. So I'm even darkening it, because as you can see, the 3B, which seems to look so dark a while ago, is no longer as dark when we use the dark pencil. Now I'm gonna be using the 5B to reinforce, or to really bring back the darkness of the shadows on his face, on his lips. Yeah, the highlights on his face should be very visible. Imagine we put a while ago, if you remember, I put an H pencil all over the face, but now you can see, you can no longer see the H pencil. So yeah, this is very important, this process of building the skin tone using different layers of different grades of pencil. So this is 5B again. Now I'm blending very, very lightly. I don't want to push hard on my blender, because the idea again is to still make it look, the pencil strokes, or the roughness of the skin should still be, that is what we're trying to achieve. We don't want to achieve something like a very plastic looking skin tone. We want textures, 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 textures. Now to add even more textures, but a lighter one, now I'm putting again the 3B. Now it's weird. It's weird, right? Because we already used 3B a while ago, but now I'm still using the 3B. And the 3B that we added a while ago seems to just disappear. Now I'm putting it back on the skin tone using the same 3B a while ago. So yeah, if you look closer on the drawing, I'm really conscious of keeping all these pencil strokes, all these textures of the skin tone. Again, we don't want to overblend. We want something that will still look like a drawing and not a photograph. So yeah, that's why all the blending, all the brushing that I'm doing here is very, very lightly. Okay, so now the B pencil, this is going to be like a blender. I don't want to blend the B already. I just want to add more texture, super fine light texture, especially on the light tones right here using the B pencil. So again, I go from dark to light instead of light to dark. So this is the B. I think this is going to be the lightest pencil that I'm gonna use. And yeah, so actually I use the B not really to shade, but to just blend and to keep the texture of the skin tone on the paper. So again, I'm using a texture paper, so you can use any paper with not so rough, but with nice textures to it. So I'm using the same process on hands, on neck part, even on the hair. I went from dark to light. So yeah, so this is the light part of doing the hair right here. So now, step 9, this is the highlighting part. So this is the only time when I erase for the highlights to add more contrast to the drawing. So the dark will be very dark and the light will be really light, using this kneaded eraser and mono zero eraser for the hair strands. But for the majority of the face, just the kneaded eraser is very, very sufficient to add all these highlights right here. So yeah, I love it. I'm loving the look of it. If you try to look at it with the clothes and with some parts of the drawing, I almost didn't blend it. Like here on her clothes, on his clothes, on the background, I keep the actual roughness of the pencil there, because I want to have that look. Aside from the skin tone, I want everything, the whole portrait, to look like a very nice textured drawing. So yeah, you can see on her legs, I didn't blend. I want to keep all those textures. On his hands, those are super unblended right there. So now I'm using this, what's this? Electric eraser for sharp white highlights. So here it is. Can you see all these, textures and all these pencil strokes that are very, very visible, and it adds character. It adds more, artistry to the drawing. So can you comment on your opinion about this style? Do you like it? Do you want to try this? I want to hear from you.